Hey guys, thanks for joining us here on Wild Willie's Bike Shop. Today we're going to be going through how to clean the carburetor for our four-wheeler. Fun stuff.
I'm on a highway to hell. On the highway to hell.
So the first thing that I want to say is that just to start off is, although the specific model four-wheeler that we're working on is a 2003 700 Twin Sportsman Polaris, these principles that we're going to talk about right now while we clean this carb really apply to any carb that you're cleaning for any bike, motorcycle or four-wheeler or whatever it is, anything that's carb running. So I'm going to learn some pretty good general principles here. Really all you're going to need is going to be the carb itself. I got some carb cleaner, got some compressed air that we can use to blow out through some of the little jets and tubes that we're going to see inside here, make sure they're clear of obstructions. Then I got just a bag of these little tiny brushes that are also good just to get in the little nooks and crannies and all the small areas of the carburetor itself. And then just a various assortment of screwdrivers and things like that. You can order a carb kit, and usually we'll order a carb kit for your specific four-wheeler or motorcycle or whatever it is that you're working on. We'll open this and see if we can salvage anything. I just happen to have enough carb parts on hand that I probably have everything I need to fix this right now. But usually either on Amazon or eBay.com or whatever it is, you can find a carb kit to replace all the rubber gaskets and even some of the floats and things that we're going to see on the inside of this here. So just food for thought. So really the first thing, I'm just looking at it to inspect it to make sure we're putting everything back the way it goes. Looks like here's where the fuel was flown in. Here we have a couple breather tubes. I noticed that this one right here, looks like at some point it was sealed off or clamped, but then that rubber nipple that they used just wore off. So I might have to play with that a little bit and replace that rubber nipple. Just to see how the bike runs with a new one, or the four-wheeler I should say. So I'll start by opening up this top half, and we'll go ahead and open it up and take a look inside and clean the inside of it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this top portion right here. You see we just got these 4 screws right here, and there's gonna be a spring underneath here, so you just wanna be careful that it doesn't shoot off as you take this off. So I'm gonna go ahead and unscrew this right now. Okay, so once you get it open, I just pop this open like that. Now you can see you got that spring right there, so we're just gonna, so you can see that a little bit closer. So here you have a spring, and this rubber part right here is your diaphragm. So we're gonna open that up. We're just gonna gently pull that up. You can push it up from underneath right here as well. We're gonna push that up and just pull it up. And we just want to be super gentle with it because we don't want to tear it. Because if we tear it, then you'll just need to order a new one. Because even if this just has one little tear in it, you're not going to get a good seal, and your car's not going to run right. So that just pulls out just like that. And this is what the inside of that looks like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use our carb cleaner right here, and we're just going to clean all this out as good as we can. You'll see we have some screws and some little parts that will slide out, that will come out of here. We're just going to remove those, pull it out, and just clean everything really good. With our carb cleaner, with this compressed air, inside some of these smaller holes and jets and things like that. Just be really thorough with it. Something you want to be careful about is you see you got your needle right here, your plunger needle. So we're just going to push that up slightly, and then it'll actually just pull right out right there. We just want to be careful not to lose any of these little pieces. Sometimes you might have another additional spring or something like that in there. And just take a look inside this hole, and sometimes you might have a screw or something that just holds that, it just lightly holds this in place. So every carb's a little bit different, but if you just take a look at it, you'll be able to see how it comes out pretty easily. So I got that taken apart, and I'm just gonna go through and just clean and spray the hell out of all this top portion right here. Okay, so now I got that all cleaned up. A couple things I want to point out here, really one main one, is here in this specific thing you'll see, in this specific part, you'll see just a little gold piece right there, which is opening to a little tiny tube or jetway or whatever you want to call it, a little tunnel. And you want to spray some carb cleaner and some compressed air down there, so you can make sure that wherever that's going, it'll go ahead and flow out to that spot. And so in this case, that little hole right there actually flows out to a small little jetway right here. So when I spray into it, you'll see it actually spray out from right there. I don't know if you saw that, how it kind of sprayed up right there. So you just want to make sure all little tiny openings like that, you just want to take your time and just make sure all those little openings aren't obstructed by any dirt or grime or anything like that. That's like 90% of what cleaning our carb is making sure all those little pathways are clean and not obstructed. But now I got this top part cleaned. You see I just kind of set all the little pieces off to the side right here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is move down to this bottom portion. And you can see here similarly, you got these 4 screws. So I'm just going to go ahead and take those 4 screws off and take a look and see what we have inside. All right, so we got that off, and the big thing that you want to look at right here is this rubber gasket right here. Lots of times this will tear or get compromised or just get old and worn over time. So you just want to be very aware of it, and if you can save it, great, but if it looks like it's worn or anything like that, then better just to replace it, because you'll save yourself some work in that in the long run. All right. And this is what the inside of that carburetor looks like. So it might be a little intimidating at first glance, but you'll see here pretty quick that it's nothing to be intimidated by. And after you clean just 1 or 2 of these, you'll feel a lot more confident with it. So we'll get into it here. So a few things that I want to point out with this is the following. So this right here, these are your, well, I guess you'd call them floats right here, because that's what they do, is they float in the gasoline, right? Here you have your main jet, which is just this little tube, almost like a straw, that sucks gasoline up and spits into the engine. This other opening right here is what's called the pilot jet. So you have your main jet, your pilot jet. So similar to the main jet, the pilot jet does the same thing, where it'll suck fuel up to be sprayed into the engine. So typically what happens is your pilot jet is what's controlling your motorcycle or your 4-wheeler or whatever it is, right, when it's in an idle state. And then your main jet is a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, sucks up more fuel, and that's what's used when you are actually accelerating or opening up your throttle to go fast, right? Again, these are like little straws almost, but we're going to look in here. You can see they have slits in them so that we can unscrew them and pull them out and inspect them and just look for any debris or anything like that. But we'll pull those out and we'll make sure that they're are not dirty or anything like that. Okay. And then what I want to show you here is, here you have your floats, and then you'll see here, and maybe this is what I should be calling the float, but there's like a little tiny plunger thing right here that hooks onto here. So kind of like how your toilet has the back tank of your toilet has that little valve that just opens and closes with that chain. That's the same thing with this. This has a little valve. Typically this is hanging upside down like this, but there's just a little plunger right here. And when that gas level gets high enough, it closes that plunger and then stops more fuel from flowing into the carburetor. So you got your floats, you got your plunger, you got your main jet, you got your pilot jet. And so I'm just gonna take all these apart right here to get these floats off. They're just a little tiny crossbar that will just push off right here. And then that will just lift off. And we'll go through just looking at inspecting everything and then just make sure everything's clean. So I'll show this to you what it looks like once I pull off the pilot jet, the main jet, the plungers, the plunger, the float, and you can see what it looks like after I start cleaning it. Okay, so I got all that stuff pulled out. And just so you see what it looks like a little bit better, this right here, this little gold piece, is that main jet piece that we pulled off. This smaller one was the pilot jet for idling, and that's inside that hole right there. So that just screwed out right there with the flathead. This little bar right here is what we pushed out of here to be able to pull those floats and plunger out. And here is that float with its little plunger right here. See that? And this actually just hangs off of that and pulls off like that. And that's all that is. It's just that little thing that keeps too much gas. I'm not sure if we can focus in on that or not, but it keeps too much gas from getting into your carb. One thing that you want to do here is just inspect all this for damage. Typically, when you order a new carb kit, you get all little pieces to replace, which is good, because you might as well replace it because you're going through a lot of work to pull this and clean it all out. Something else you want to do is you want to take this float right here and you just want to dunk it into a cup of water and see if you see any bubbles coming up. And if you see any bubbles coming up, it means that there's some type of a hole that got worn into here, and it's gonna fuck up your floats and your float height, and you don't want to do that. So if you see any bubbles coming up, and at that point you would go ahead and just order a new float as well. So something to keep in mind. So now what I'm going to do is I'll just use my carb cleaner and my air, and I'm going to go into each one of these little holes. Got my main jet, my pilot jet. Over here is where the fuel comes in from the fuel line. So I'm going to go through and just blow some carb cleaner and some air into each one of these. See where it comes out the other end. Make sure it's not plugged up or anything like that. Okay, so I'll get doing that right now. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you, I went through and I made sure that all these patches were clear. Next thing I want to show you is this right here. If you can see that little, it looks like another screw right here. So that's actually your fuel air mixture screw right there. Sometimes they'll call it a pilot screw, but commonly it's just your fuel air mixture screw. So this, with a flat head, I'm gonna go ahead and screw out. I'm gonna pop that out and show it to you right now. Okay, so I'll show you this. Not sure if my camera will focus, but all it is that's the fuel air mixture screw that I pulled out. See how it has that point on the end of it right there? And one thing you want to notice is that it'll have a little tiny rubber gasket, a little circle one right there that you don't want to lose, or actually better is to replace it with a new one, which will typically come in your carb kit. Then you have your metal washer, little tiny metal washer. Then you have your spring right there. And that's what the fuel air mixture screw looks like just by itself without anything. So you want to inspect this for damage. You want to make sure that your tip is still intact, doesn't look like it's been broken off or jammed or anything like that. And then so we'll go through and we'll clean this hole out very well, make sure there's no obstructions in there again. And then we will go ahead and replace that in there. And so what's important about your fuel air mixture screw is it really just determines what's really the combination of fuel and air that's going to be going into from your carburetor and your air box and into the engine. So if you have too much fuel or too much air, then it's not going to run great. It won't run great if you have too much of either. So there's just a perfect ratio that you want to go for. And if you just, typically you can Google it, or you can, if you happen to have a service manual for whatever it is that you're working on, you can look up the fuel air mixture for it, and it'll say like, hey, lightly seat that, screw it all the way in, lightly seat it, and then screw it out 1 time or 2 times or 2 1/4 times or 1 3/4 times. So you just want to make sure that you have that screwed out the right amount so that you're getting the right mixture of fuel and air that's going into your engine from the carb and the air box. So I'll show you that here in just a second, but I just wanted to give you a quick explanation of that. Super important. You can do everything else perfectly on your carb job, but if your fuel air mixture screw is off, then it's just not going to run smoothly. Okay. Okay, so I just sprayed some air and some carb cleaner down there, and I could see it flowing out freely without any obstruction or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and put my screw, my fuel air mixture screw back in here with a fresh rubber gasket. So again, this is going to be your fuel air mixture screw, then goes your spring, and then goes your metal washer, and then goes your new gasket. And it's important that you have your metal washer. It's important that you have your little rubber gasket, because otherwise, keep in mind this is hanging upside down when it's installed in your motor, in your four-wheeler, your motorcycle. So if you don't have that rubber gasket there, then it's not going to seal properly, and you'll just have fuel dripping out of it. And then it's a lot of work to depending on how well your access is, you might have to pull the whole carb again just to adjust it and put that little piece in. I went ahead and got that fuel air mixture screw back in there. You just want to be careful as you screw it in that you're not forcing it. You don't want, again, you want to break that tippet out or anything like that. So what you do then is you screw it all the way down until it's seated lightly. You don't have to hork it and screw it in as tight as you want. Just once you feel it start to resist, just once it's seated lightly, then you're good to go. So from that position of seated, then we're going to go ahead and screw it out a few full turns. Checking online, it looked like for this 2003 700 twin Sportsman Polaris, for the specific one that I'm working on right now, it said to go out 1 3/4 turn. So what you're just going to do is just going to go in there and you're going to count how many times you spin it and do a full 360s. So I usually do it in groups of half, but we want to do 1 3/4. So I'm going to go, there's a half turn, there's a full turn, there is another half turn, so we're at 1 1/2 right now. And we wanted to do 1 3/4, now I'm just going to do a 1/4 turn. And right there, we're at 1 3/4. So basically what you're doing is you screw it in, lightly seating it, and then screwing it out one turn or 2 turns. And you can look up online whatever the amount of turns is, whatever it is that you're working on. But again, that's for the pilot screw right there, something that's super important. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting this back together. I'm going to blow some carb cleaner and air through each of my little bits for the main jet and the pilot jet. Make sure all those are clean. Again, we inspect our float, make sure it doesn't have any holes in it with bubbles and a cup of water. And then our plunger right here. Just want to again inspect that and make sure that it's not broken or worn down or anything like that. But we're going to go ahead and put them back in. So something else I want to point out is, as you're getting ready to put this back on, you just want to make sure that your gasket again is good. It's not broken or cracked or really dirty or anything like that. Better to replace it if you can just get a whole new one. And also where the gasket sits inside this lid, you want to make sure you clean that out really well. I usually use just like a toothbrush. You can also get some really easy like plastic or even like wire brushes. You can use like the dollar store, Family Dollar, and they actually work really great. But basically we're just cleaning that out to make sure that there's no residue or little gunk or anything in there, because that will make it so you don't get a good seal when you have a fuel leak. Okay, I just wanted to show you real quick what it looks like when you put your float back in with your old plunger. So again, I've already reinstalled my fuel air mixture screw, my pilot jet, my main jet. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put this back in. Got my new little plunger right there. That's just going to hang from that little middle tab right there. Just like that. You can see that. Okay, and now we're going to use this metal bar that we took out and made sure it's clean. And we're just going to make sure that little plunger fits inside that hole right there. And then we're going to take that metal bar and slide it back in place. There you go. You have it just like that. So something that's super important about this is, so you can see now, right here, you can see that little plunger is controlled by this float right here. And there's gonna be a specific height that we wanna set this float to make sure that plunger is closing when it should close and the right amount of fuel is getting into the carburetor. So that's something, so maybe you can see just right there. If I can point to it with this. So you're looking at this little metal silver plunger right there is being controlled. See how it goes up and down right there? And once that goes all the way up, that closes that opening with that plunger so that way no more fuel comes in, okay? So something really important. Yeah, you can make sure you get a good seal. If you go to where your fuel's coming in over here, you can make sure you get a good seal just by dumping some fuel in there. Or in this case, I'll just use carb cleaner. And then we're just looking at this to make sure that nothing's pouring out. Perfect. I don't know if you could see that, but none of that carb cleaner was coming out of that little opening with that plunger until I released the float and basically opened it up. So now I know that it has a good seal and that it'll keep fuel coming out. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is check the float height, and we'll make sure we set this float height accordingly, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I looked at the float height for this, and it says to set your floats at 13 millimeters. So what does that mean if you've never done this before? Basically what that means is if you're measuring from, let's get a good angle here. If you're measuring from this flat part right here of the bottom of the carb to the top of your float right here, you should have 13 millimeters in there. So I have just this little tiny ruler that lets me look at it, and I can see right here I'm actually sitting at right about 13 millimeters right there. Now there's a little middle tab. Not sure if you can see it, but there's a little middle tab right here. That same middle tab that your plunger attaches to, you can actually bend that slightly up and down if you need to adjust your floats a little bit, make it a little bit higher, a little bit lower. So that is how you adjust your float height, is with that tab. And in this case, for this carburetor and this four-wheeler, you want to be at 13 millimeters. Oops, wrong side. But that's something that's really important, and you want to look that up for whatever specific year, make, and model of either four-wheeler or motorcycle or whatever it is, carburetor that you're working on. Okay, so at this point, I've cleaned and inspected my main jet, my pilot jet, my fuel air mixture screw, made sure that that's set at the right setting. I've made sure that my plunger is working and sealing properly. I've made sure that my float height is the right height. So now I'm good to go ahead and close this back up. So again, you got your gasket, you're just being careful not to damage that. And you're just putting that on just like this. And then you're gonna go ahead and just replace those 4 screws that you took off. One thing that I recommend doing is just like when you're changing a car tire, you want to crisscross as you tighten this. Don't over torque it just on one side. You want to just lightly seat one side, cross over, do the other side, and just go in that crisscross motion, just slightly tightening it until it's firm all the way around. And that'll help you make sure you have a great seal with that gasket underneath there, and you're not having fuel leaking out. There's nothing more annoying than when you do all the work of cleaning and rebuilding your carburetor just to get it installed, and then it's leaking fuel. So now you got to take it apart and uninstall it, right, or remove it again. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so now I got that bottom all sealed up. I'm going to go ahead and move back over to the top, and just remember, these are all the parts that I cleaned earlier. I took off the top part. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just reinstall everything the same way I took it out. Reminder, being super gentle with your diaphragm, making sure you don't tear it, and make sure it doesn't have any tears in it. And also, as you put your needle back in there and feed it back down into the diaphragm, there's a little specific hole for it to fit into. And this needle right here is, you just, again, you don't want to break it or anything like that, otherwise you need to order a new one. Might make sure it's really clean. But now I'll just go ahead and reinstall everything in there as I removed it. Okay, so at this point I was able to get everything back and reinstalled the way it was before. A couple things that I'll do off camera here is I'm gonna have to stop by AutoZone or the hardware store just to buy new rubber nipples here and here. These are just worn down and I happen to not have any of those specific sizes in my shop right now. So just keep an eye out for that, for anything that, keep an eye out for that, just anything that is worn down, you just want to go to replace it. But really here, there's nothing to be intimidated about with these carburetors. It's just maybe take video or pictures as you're taking it apart so you remember how to put it back together, and you just want to make sure you're meticulously cleaning every little nook and cranny and jet and tube, and make sure nothing's plugged up. And is main important. And then after all that's cleaned and put back together, make sure your float heights are correct, make sure your fuel air mixture screw is set correctly, and then you're ready to go ahead and reinstall it back into your four-wheeler or motorcycle or whatever it is that you're working on. So do me a favor and like or share and subscribe if you liked this video and found it helpful. What I'll go ahead and do, I'm not going to show reinstalling the carburetor in this specific video, but I do have another one that I'll link to it on just how to pull out and reinstall a carb for a four-wheeler, so that way you can see how to do that. And again, the one I'm working on is a 700 twin Polaris Sportsman 2003, but it's going to be pretty similar for any model of four-wheeler that you're trying to remove or reinstall that. So one little bonus section that I just wanted to include in this, just to help you out with your understanding of carburetors. So if you look at this, remember on the top portion we had that rubber diaphragm with a needle. On the top portion we had that rubber diaphragm with the needle, which you can kind of see if I turn this just the right way. You can see just right there. There you go. So you have your needle, and then remember on the bottom portion we had those two jets. We had the main jet, we had the pilot jet, which again, remember those act like little straws that are just sucking up fuel to push towards a motor. And I wanted to explain a little bit more about how all those work together. So underneath here, you have your main jet and you have your pilot jet. The pilot jet is really what the carburetor is using to supply fuel to your motor while it's in idle status. So if your motorcycle or if your four-wheeler is idling really rough or something along those lines, and that can be an indicator for you that your pilot jet might be plugged up or have some debris stuck in there. And the main jet, so again on this bottom portion of it, the main jet is when you have your throttle opened up and it's that bigger hole or that bigger straw that's sucking up fuel for when your throttle's opened up and you're moving quickly. If you find that you're losing power or having performance issues when you have your accelerator opened up, then it's an indicator that your main jet might be plugged up for you. And then that needle, again, that needle right there is really the connection between the 2 points. So as you're transitioning from the pilot jet in an idle status and moving on to the main jet and having your accelerator fully open, that fuel is going up through that little needle hole right there. So basically it's kind of bridging the gap between the two as you transition from one to the other. So if you notice that as you are in that process of starting to accelerate and transitioning from your idle to having your accelerator open, if you're losing a lot of power or struggling, it might be that needle is either dirty or clogged or something like that. Or it could be that maybe you just need to adjust your needle size. A lot of carburetors have the ability to adjust that needle size, and there are specific instructions for that, but you can get a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller needles. Also, a lot of those needles will have just a little washer on the end of it so that you can slightly move it up or down a little bit. And as that needle's tapered, it's going to allow a little bit less or a little bit more fuel to slip around it and give you more or less power, right? So just wanted to spend a minute to explain how all three of those relate to each other. And hopefully that helps with your understanding of carburetors. And again, remember that you want to make sure that I just want to reemphasize this, you're being really careful with your float heights, and you're being really careful with your fuel air mixture screws, because you can do everything else perfectly, but if those aren't set correctly, your motorcycle or your four-wheeler is still just going to run shitty. Okay, so good stuff, guys. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or have any notes, anything that maybe I can do better for next time. Thanks for joining us.